Politics on the frontier of 1876 was often a brawling, conniving business. Wyatt Earp, as Marshal of Dodge City, was appointed by the mayor and council. He didn't have to run for election. But when Charlie Bassett, sheriff of Ford County, decided not to seek election again, Wyatt was confronted with a difficult choice. He must either allow a bad choice backed by some cattlemen to take over the sheriff's office, or he must find a candidate with whom he could work in honest law enforcement. So Wyatt decided that young Bat Masterson should make the race for sheriff. The big trouble was that neither Wyatt nor Bat knew how many guns were loaded and aimed at them.
Howdy, gentlemen.
Howdy, Sheriff.
Thanks, but I ain't sheriff yet. Just a small matter of getting elected. Maybe that'll help.
What you got in mind, Mr. Lanford?
Well, you know that Earp's talked Bat Masterson into running against me.
Mm-hmm.
Just two things wrong with Bat as a candidate.
He's Earp's best friend. What's the other thing?
He's young and cocky. He won't walk away from a fight. I've got to make the voters understand that a brawling, trigger-happy kid ain't the sort they want for sheriff. Maybe you fellas can help spread that idea around.
I don't know. Bat's awful good with a gun, Mr. Lanford.
You won't need guns. Don't even wear those things. Get him into arguments. Pick fistfights with him. Keep him in trouble. He's bound to lose his temper and get himself branded around the county as a hoodlum brat. See what I mean?
Oh, Hal. You seen Mr. Masterson?
Sure, he's in the parlor of the Dodge Hotel, sparking Miss Alma.
Oh, no.
Oh, there's no need to fret, Wyatt. The voters approve of Miss Alma. At least they elected her daddy state senator.
Yeah. Well, she thinks she knows too much about politics. Now, Hal, you take my patrol. I'm going to see to it that the future Sheriff Masterson gets home safe.
It isn't that I have anything personal against Mr. Earp. But what kind of a political campaign is this? No speeches, no rallies, nothing but a couple of advertisements in the Globe.
Oh, honey, you know I couldn't make a speech. I'd be all tongue-tied and I'd...
Well, Jerry Lamphier's making speeches. He goes all over the county.
shaking hands, kissing babies. Whew, those poor babies.
Well, my father says you're going to lose if you keep listening to Mr. Earp. He's a political liability.
What?
He's a controversial figure. He has personal enemies, and the voters will think that you're much too close.
You folks got a lease on this here parlor? Move on, Sonny. I'm expecting a gal of my own.
Let's you and me settle this outside.
Oh, no, that, please.
Ah, he's just talking big. He will.
Ah! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Hold it! That's enough. Hold your temper. You get out of here.
I'll see him again.
We'll all be around. Now, what was all this about?
He came busting in here
And
so...
you hit him first. Now he'll probably go all over town talking mean, and then he'll start another fight. Papa says that's the main thing Bat has to be on his guard against.
Well, the senator's right. Why don't you take Miss Alma down to the Texas Cafe and have some lemonade? Simmer down.
How did you get here so quick?
I just happened to be standing outside and I heard the rumpus. You take charge of him, Miss Alma.
No, I've got a headache now, and I'm going up to my room.
I sure am sorry, hon.
Couldn't be helped, I guess. But you should have stayed out of it, Mr. Earp. Every time you show the voters how close you are to Bat, it'll cost him votes. Well, Papa says it could be fatal.
Yes.
I'll see you later, Bat.
For dinner?
All right.
She just got upset about the fight.
Yeah. Did you ever see that cowhand before?
No.
Mr. Lampier must be trying something cute.
Politics. To make me look bad?
That's right. I got a hunch. Let me have your gun. Now, you walk down towards the Texas Cafe. I'll follow you, but no gun.
All right. either of you?
Now we'll have it out real good.
No, no, you don't sucker me again. You take him to jail. I'll go see Lamford.
No, that's just what he wants. Well, these two can walk. You heard him on to jail.
All right. Come on.
You'd make a fine sheriff, beating people up in the streets.
Come on.
Now, what's got you moaning so low?
Politics. I don't like politics.
Oh, you don't like politics, huh?
No, I must have been loco when I promised you I'd run for sheriff.
Now, this is important. We've kept a lid on Dodge. And the only reason we've been able to do that is because Charlie Bassett and Bill Tillman have run an honest sheriff's office, right?
Right.
Now, if those hoodlums put Lamford across as sheriff, the whole town is going to blow wide open. Don't you understand that?
Why can't I withdraw and let you run?
Look, we've been through this a dozen times. They wouldn't elect me for sheriff. I'm not that popular.
Well, I think you are.
Weren't you at the hotel when Miss Alma told us that my being your friend was a drawback?
Oh, I suppose we gotta quit being friends, huh? Oh, no, if that's what it takes to get elected.
All you gotta do is just take it easy and stay out of fights. Now, the reason that Lamford sicked those 3 gunfighters on you was so that people would think that you were raunchy and wild. Now, you just let me do the fighting.
And the voters will think I'm scared.
No, they won't. Now, look, being a sheriff is a dignified job. You just can't go around swinging at every cowhand that's hired to taunt you into it.
All right, I'm going home. Will I get my gun back?
No. I'm escorting you home.
No, it's still my bodyguard, huh? Well, you never let any of us wet nurse you.
That's because I'm not running for sheriff of Ford County.
Well, a promise is a promise. I'll be a good little boy.
And now, gentlemen, I come to the main point. My opponent, Mr. Bat Masterson, is a common thug. A hireling in the employ of Wyatt Earp.
I don't believe it.
I have here 3 honest cowhands just now released from Mr. Earp's prison. Last night, each one of them was set upon by Mr. Masterson. And when they tried to defend themselves, Mr. Earp joined his friend Masterson in beating them with fists and gun barrels. Masterson had no reason to assault these men. I'm going to introduce them presently, and each one of them will tell you that Masterson was in a nasty mood and picked a fight.
You wait here.
Oh, no, Bat, no.
Is this the kind of man you want for sheriff? A drunken, irresponsible gunfighter and hoodlum. A killer who, if elected, will still be working for Marshal Earp. You're a liar!
All right, Mr. Masterson, you take care of Miss Alma.
He was lying about me. You said
I don't care. You take her back to the hotel and then start your patrol. You understand?
Yes, sir.
It was just a political speech. Politicians don't have to take an oath when they talk.
Mr. Lamford, I'm sorry if Mr. Masterson said you were lying.
Oh, you're sorry.
That's right. You see, Mr. Masterson just doesn't understand that you're a natural-born liar and can't help yourself.
What are you laughing at? I know what I'm doing.
Now, we got free speech in this town. So, Mr. Lamford, you just go on with your meeting.
You try and stop me.
Well, I just said I wouldn't do that. Now, you just climb back up on your little platform there and tell the biggest whoppers you can think of.
Go on.
That is just exactly the sort of thing that will keep right on happening here in Dodge City. You saw with your own eyes.
Well, you won't listen to me.
I will now.
Really? Well, I told you last night, you and Mr. Earp don't know ABC about politics. Now, my father's coming to town this afternoon, and he can tell you how to get elected.
All right.
You'll do what he says?
Yes.
Papa likes you. If you go along with his ideas, you can win. And being sheriff is just a beginning. Why, there's no telling how high you can go in politics. I like you, too. Very much.
Well, thanks, Hannah.
Oh, later. Here comes Mr. Earp.
Here, wear this.
Oh, I thought you didn't want me to wear a gun.
Yeah, Mr. Lanford isn't going to try fist fighting anymore. He's proved his point.
You think he'll gun me?
Well, he's a little too slow for that. But he might hire a drunk or somebody else to make a play against you, hoping you'll shoot.
Yeah, I get it. But why you trusting me with a gun? I might lose my temper and use it.
Lose the election?
Yeah.
No, you won't shoot unless you have to. Anyway, Mr. Lanford is playing a lot dirtier than I expected. You can't walk around town unarmed.
What happened to your idea of wet nursing me?
Well, I got a nice little telegram here from Senator Drew. Says if we want his support, we got to follow his instructions. I guess Miss Alma sent him a telegram last night.
Yeah, I guess she did. But you're still the boss as far as I'm concerned, White.
So let's see what the political expert has to say. Meanwhile, you're supposed to be a deputy marshal. So, get on your patrol.
Right.
The Globe just came out. They printed every one of Lanfear's charges right on page 1.
Masterson assaults cowhands. Goes on rampage with fists. The Earp candidate denounced by Jerry Lanfear. Stupid. Damnably stupid.
Oh, it isn't Bat's fault, but you know how he hero worships Mr. Earp.
Well, I thought he listened to you until I could get here.
Not against Mr. Earp.
Ah.
Oh, they're both just babes in the woods, really. But, Papa, I still think Bat can amount to something. The people like him. Oh, Mr. Earp, I'm so glad you could come in a hurry.
Not at all. Howdy, Senator.
Hello, Wyatt. Sit yourself down.
Thank you.
Papa has to go back to Topeka on the night train, so I'll leave you two to talk.
Seen this?
No, sir. Well, you know, the Globe is supporting Mr. Lanfear. He does a lot of advertising.
I don't like the hoodlum crowd. That's why I encouraged you to find a man who can beat Lanfear.
Yes, sir.
Frankly, when you picked Masterson, I had my doubts, but Alma's kind of interested in the boy.
Well, sir, in all due respect to Miss Alma, I didn't consider her feelings. I picked Mr. Masterson because I could trust him and I could work with him.
That's the trouble.
What do you mean?
Politically, Wyatt, you and Bat are too close.
Oh, I see.
You've been a fine marshal here, but let's face it. An honest peace officer makes enemies. He can't be honest and popular at the same time.
I guess so. Well, I don't see why Mr. Masterson has to be saddled with my enemies.
There's a way around that. You and Masterson could have a big row in public.
You mean a fake quarrel?
Wyatt, this is politics. A campaign is half play acting. You want an honest sheriff, right?
That's right.
Then what's a little Phineas T. Barnum stunt compared to getting Bat elected?
Well, except Mr. Masterson can't act worth shucks.
Bat doesn't have to be an actor. You make the quarrel. Make him think it's in dead earnest.
Well, all right, you're the expert, Senator. I'll trail him around. Maybe something will happen to make it look good.
Fine, Wyatt, fine.
No. Put it on the ace. The ace. That isn't. You gotta play percentage in this thing, boy. You never will win it. Look, if it was. Where you gone?
Frog-face, turn around. I want to talk to you. Have you thought it over?
Tain't enough money, Mr. Lanford. I can get killed.
Bat won't draw on you.
No? How can I be sure of that?
$50 more says he won't. He can't afford a gunfight, Frog-face. He's in politics. All you have to do is wave your gun around at him. Call him a few names.
Oh, play acting, huh? Did you just play acting, Mr. Lanford?
A practical joke, that's all.
Oh. Well, if that's all it is. I know what I'll do. I'll pull out my gun, I'll sneak up behind him, and I'll say, wait a minute, you. And then I might even fire a shot over his head, just, just to give him a little scare, see? Then when he turns around, I'll say, I got you, you bum. What, you think you're gonna make a sheriff of this town? Let's see what kind of a brave sheriff you are, and I bet you'll just fade right away from me.
Hello, Bat. How's your campaign coming?
Pretty good, thanks.
Stay in there, boy. I'm gonna vote for you, Bat.
Thanks, Mr. Stinson.
You yellow pup. Now I got you.
Now, take it easy, Frogface.
Go for your gun. Let's see what kind of a brave sheriff you'd make. Oh! You shot me! I'm killed! I'm killed!
Mr. Masters, you promised to quit fighting.
What? Wasn't a fight. Hold still now, Frogface.
He tried to draw me, White. I had to defend myself.
It's an accident with his own gun. You're not hurt bad, just pinched in the leg.
Yeah. You'll be all right, Frogface. I'll get you over to Dr. McCarty.
Oh.
Well, that winds it up, Mr. Masterson, turning your star.
What?
You broke your promise.
Are you loco? I told you it was an accident.
We used to be friends. I did the best I could for you. Now we're finished.
Quiet, listen.
Save your breath.
Don't take it that way, Bat. You're lucky to find out so quick.
Lucky?
I wasn't going to vote for you, but now that you're rid of Earp, I'm with you.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. And I'm not saying I never made a lot of trouble for Wyatt. Ever since the first days in Ellsworth, I've been getting into scrapes he got me out of. But this time it's his fault. He wouldn't even give me a chance to explain. Just gets sore and fires me in front of that crowd of hoodlums.
Maybe he never really was your friend.
Wyatt, he's been like my big brother. Taught me gunfighting. Saved my life half a dozen times.
But a true friend wouldn't pull out on you the way he did.
Yeah, I can't understand it. I don't know what to do, Alma. It's been Wyatt and me on the trail together in gunfights side by side. But I'm not going to beg him. He says we're through, so we're through.
And a good riddance, darling.
No. No, not losing a friend like Wyatt.
But now you'll win the election.
Election? What does that amount to compared to a man...
It cost you votes, hundreds of votes. Why, honey, when Papa heard about the split up, he said you're as good as elected. You have his support now all the way. And Papa knows. We're going far in politics. You'll be governor before many years, and
votes, votes, yeah, sure.
Well, what's the matter?
I don't know. I gotta think about this. I'll take a walk and I'll think about it.
Oh, Wyatt, my boy.
Well, I guess you heard, huh?
Wonderful. Worked like a charm. Or didn't it?
Well, I don't know. I think I hurt his feelings. I was rougher on him than I meant to be.
Nonsense. After the election, you can explain to that. And you'll both have a good laugh over it. Now then, the boy has to make a few speeches. Here in Dodge and around the county. A public row isn't quite enough. He'll have to denounce you and tell the voters that he doesn't want your support.
Yes, sir.
I've hired him a campaign wagon and all the trimmings. And Spike Gillum, my own manager, is going to take charge. Bat could go places. He's young, but women want to mother him. And women swing a lot of votes, even if they can't vote themselves. Bat has a good, honest face, and he likes people.
Well, there's just one thing, though. What if he doesn't make up to me?
Now, don't you worry about that. Politics is politics. Well, I'm in a rush. Have a lot of odds and ends to pick up and a train to catch. Here's to the new sheriff, Bat Masterson.
Well, sir, thank you for your advice.
No, I must thank you for taking my advice. Don't miss Bat's speech this afternoon. More effective if you're in the crowd when he denounces you.
I'll be there, sir.
Gentlemen, my father had to return to Topeka on business, so he asked me to introduce Mr. Masterson, our next sheriff. Now, you all know Mr. Masterson's record as a fearless deputy marshal. But there is one point that I'm sure Mr. Masterson wishes to explain to the voters. His opponent is charged that he is the henchman of Marshal Wyatt Earp. This is not true. Mr. Masterson and Mr. Earp are no longer friends. But I'm sure that Mr. Masterson doesn't need me to speak for him. He can speak for himself. And so I give you Mr. William B. Bat Masterson, the next sheriff of Ford County.
I'd like to talk directly to Wyatt Earp. Wyatt, Alma's got things a little mixed up. You're still my friend no matter what you think of me. Look, you're sore at me. And maybe as you see it, you have a right to be sore. Well, that doesn't matter. I'll go on naming you as my friend as long as I live. And if claiming you as a friend makes me unworthy of election as sheriff, well, that doesn't matter. You know, good friends are scarce in this life. A man would be a fool to trade a friend for a political office. Anybody that votes for me votes for Wyatt Earp, too.
I don't exactly like you, Earp, but I'll vote for you. And I'm gonna vote for Bat Masterson.
Stupid.
And furthermore, gentlemen,
Masterson?
Yeah, you better wear that, too.
thanks, Wyatt. You know, you sell yourself too short. I'm gonna win that election, and mostly because of you.
Yeah? Well, I don't know. You lost Miss Alma and her papa.
2 votes, phooey.
Get behind me. Keep your hand off that gun.
Quiet!
No! Lick him at the poles. Come on, help me pick up these men. Take them over the dock.
Come on, you're not hurt, man. Lamp for 540. Masterson 962. I never would have believed it. Hey, how about that?
Congratulations, Sheriff Masterson.
Thanks.
Come here. Take that off.
Oh, yes, sir.
Compliments of Marshal Earp.
Is this all you got to do to be elected? Just be yourself and tell the truth?
Well, I tell you, politicians have been trying to figure out different ways for over 1,000 years, but you can't lick the truth. And every once in a while, a good man comes along to prove it. Say, almost forgot, there's a pretty little gal waiting for you over in the parlor of the Dodge Hotel.
Miss Alma.
No. No, this one wants you to run for president next year.
A new girl. Excuse me.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told. Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
On the Kansas frontier in the late 1870s, what men called justice was often savage. Alleged rustlers and horse thieves were hanged by their captors without trial. Judges like Roy Bean and Oklahoma Parker ordered men to the gallows for crimes which today would be punished by imprisonment. Wyatt Earp, as Marshal of Dodge City, was one of many peace officers who stood against lynch law and the severity of so-called legal justice. When Dal Royal, a Texas cowhand, was sentenced to be hanged for murder, Marshal Earp and Sheriff Bat Masterson staged a two-man fight against the cruel indifference of the public and the bloodlust of the gallows.
All right, there he is. Roll your hats in these bushes. Get those masks on. You two, take him alive if you can. I don't think he'll put up a fight, but if he does, we'll be ready for him. Move on out. Come on.
Got them both, Judge.
My fault. I should have ambushed him. Take off their masks and their guns. We'll hang that traitor legally for murder.
Mr. Royal, this court has found you guilty of murder in the first degree. You offered no defense. Have you anything to say now? Very well. This court sentences you to be hanged. Sheriff Masterson?
Yes, Your Honor.
You will escort the prisoner to jail in our county seat, Dodge City, from this court in Buckland. You will execute the order of the court before sundown tomorrow.
I gotta do the hanging?
You're the sheriff of all of Ford County, aren't you?
Well, yes, but...
It's part of your duties to execute condemned murderers.
Well, I just never thought... I reckon I never took that part of my job into consideration.
Sheriff, I happen to be Chief Magistrate of Buckland Township, Ford County. You will carry out my orders.
Yes, sir. My sundown tomorrow?
I'll put it in writing for you. You've heard of malfeasance in office.
Well...
Failure to comply with a court order could result in immediate removal as sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Court is adjourned. You'll wait here for this order to be written, then get on your way to Dodge City.
It wasn't murder. Why didn't you say so? Why didn't you say something?
I couldn't.
Why?
Thanks just the same, Sheriff. I'm not talking. You better take that order and let's go.
Thanks. All right, you stand over there. I'll help you on your horse when we ride to Dodge.
Marshal Earp.
That's right, ma'am.
Oh, thank goodness. I was afraid you might be out of town. Have you heard about Dal?
I'm afraid I don't know what you mean, ma'am.
Well, could we talk in your office in private?
Certainly.
I'm Alice Hendricks. My papa owns the KT spread. Dal Royal, the boy I mentioned, was our foreman. We just got word he's in awful trouble.
Come on inside.
Thank you. That awful Judge Smith at Buckland sentenced him to death, Marshal. Sheriff Masterson is bringing him here. Oh, Dal wouldn't murder anybody. Even Papa admits that. And I want to hire lawyers. Do anything to help Dal. But most of all, will you help him?
Well, I do what I can, Miss Alice, but it happened out in the county, and that's under the jurisdiction of Sheriff Masterson.
Papa says Bat is just a kid. I need you, Mr. Earp.
Well, he's not a kid. He's a very capable man. And he...
Dal! Oh, Dal! Dal! Dal, why didn't you send us word? Why didn't you...
Now, Alice, you keep out of this.
I will not. Why'd you let that judge do such a horrible thing? Handcuffs. You take them right off. Dal isn't a criminal.
Alice. Don't blame me, ma'am. I begged him to talk up for himself at the trial, but he wouldn't do it.
I'm going inside.
I'm going in, too. Don't you try to stop me. Marshal Earp, could I talk to Dal alone, please?
Certainly, ma'am. You can go right in there. When they're finished, you book them and lock them up.
Kind of pretty, that gal. Maybe she can get the truth out of him. And look what I gotta do. You talked me into running for sheriff. You didn't tell me I was gonna have to hang people.
Dal Royal sentenced to be hanged for murder of Hanby and Tremont. Well, is Mr. Royal guilty?
2 unarmed cattlemen dead on the trail near Buckland. A lot of horse marks, one set led into town. A friend of the men pointed out Dal as having quarreled with him. When I arrested him, he'd thrown his 6-gun away. One of my deputies found it in a ditch, 2 empty cartridges. Dal wouldn't say anything.
You say there were a lot of horse tracks? More than 3?
Yeah, 6 or 7. Looked like Dal might have been riding with a gang. Had a fight and shot a couple. And what are you going to do if a man won't talk?
Well, you think he's guilty?
No, sir, I don't. I think he shot him, but he doesn't look like a fellow who'd fire on unarmed men.
Yeah, well, that's what we have courts for, to decide that.
That boy's been eating loco weed or something. He says he can't talk because they'll get me.
Who's they?
We won't tell. You're a fine sheriff. I bet you don't even know the names of the hoodlums Dal's supposed to have murdered.
Hanby and Tremont. And they weren't hoodlums.
They weren't?
No, they were cattle ranchers from East Texas.
Did you ever hear of them, Miss Alice?
No, but Dal's an East Texas boy. What do you aim to do about it, Mr. Earp?
Well, time is getting kind of short. Judge Tobin will be here tonight. I'll ask him for a stay of execution.
You see, Marshal Earp wants to help us.
Sheriff Masterson is handling the case, ma'am.
Do you advise me getting a lawyer?
No, ma'am. I advise you to keep after Mr. Royal. You try and get him to talk. You can threaten him or use persuasion or whatever your female wisdom decides. In the meantime, you and I will shake out the town. Ought to be somebody in Dodge who remembers Hanby or Tremont.
What if I can't persuade him? Will you give me a key and let me turn him loose?
No, we won't.
I'm afraid we couldn't do that, Miss Alice. And don't you waste your very considerable charm on us. You just work on Mr. Royal.
I will. Oh, I will. Thank you. I'll threaten that boy not ever to speak to him again.
Girls. She doesn't believe that tomorrow before sundown I'm going to have to...
Well, maybe it's kinder if she doesn't. Come on, let's go to work.
Why does she kiss you and act sore at me?
I think that maybe deep down she knows what you may have to do.
Come here.
What for?
I want to talk to you. Look, I want to ask you once more. A man's life depends on this.
I'm thinking about my life.
Now, you're not going to get hurt.
What about them whitecaps?
Whitecaps? What do you know about them? Were Hanby and Tremont whitecaps? Were they?
Yes.
What about Del Roy? Was he one too?
I don't know. I don't know nothing. Just let me out of here.
Now, Mr. Royal, we have reason to believe that Hanby and Tremont belong to the Whitecaps.
What's that?
You know the Whitecaps.
Maybe you won yourself. Maybe that's why...
The Whitecaps are an offshoot of the old clan. Now, I got a hunch you belonged. Maybe you quit.
And when they tried to bushwhack you, you shot Hanby and Tremont and rode into Buckland.
Now, Judge Tobin will be here in a few minutes. If this is true, or any part of it's true, you should tell the judge. He might grant you a stay of execution.
For how long?
Long enough for us to dig into that Whitecap gang.
That'd take a long time, Sheriff. Meanwhile, Alice and her father... Thanks just the same.
You won't talk to the judge?
Marshal, I know the Whitecaps. You don't. You're asking me to buy a little time at the risk of Alice's life. Would you do that if you were in my spot?
No.
Of course you wouldn't, and neither would Bat. One thing you can do for me, though. Get Alice out of town and let me swing tonight.
No. We're going to try and break up this Whitecap outfit. With your help, Mr. Royal, or without it. So anyway, Judge Tobin, Mr. Masterson and I think that it was a Whitecap deal. We think they framed Mr. Royal into that murder charge after failing to bushwhack him.
Any evidence?
No, sir, not yet. They work in secret.
Yes. And I can understand young Mr. Royal's fear of talking. But I can't grant the stay, Wyatt. I'd be in immediate trouble with Judge Smith at Buckland.
Sir, you outrank him.
It's not that simple, Wyatt. We'd have to go to the Supreme Court or the governor. And only on the basis of new evidence. Now, you haven't got new evidence. Just a theory.
Well, sir, a man's life depends on it.
Check Front Street.
You know who he is?
Yeah, he's the man who told me about Hamby and Tremont.
Whitecaps, huh? Let me talk to Dal Royal this time.
Whoever he was got away.
Take him on over to the coroner's office.
Come on, give me a hand.
And you're a fine Southern boy. Why would you shield these hoodlums at the cost of your life?
He's afraid they'll kill me.
They killed a man right outside this jail.
Marshal Earp will give you both police protection. But unless you make a signed statement admitting former membership in the Whitecaps and naming your associates, I can do nothing for you.
Alice and I can't hide behind Marshal Earp forever. The way it has to be, she'll live.
I don't want to live.
Boys never really rung the town out. No luck at all. You gone into the harness maker's trade?
Yeah, I've been working at this most of the night. You're just about Mr. Royal's size. Come on over here and try this on.
What's the idea?
Well, I got this trick from Tom Iron. He's an old-time circus strongman. Used to let them hang him in front of an audience to prove how strong his neck muscles were. Now, he wore this harness to take up the shock. Now, the rope around his neck looked like it was rigged to be tight, but it really wasn't. Feel this hook in the back?
Well, fake hanging, huh?
That's right.
Well, great. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to go through with that other thing.
Well, we want this hanging to look good, but not too good. We want the Whitecaps, whoever they are, to be suspicious, and this will help smoke them out.
If Royal and the girl do their part.
I'm not worried about them doing their part. Worried about the judges.
Well, Judge Smith's over at Buckland. Judge Tobin will take your word.
That's the trouble.
Huh?
Well, if Judge Tobin asked me any questions point blank, I couldn't lie to him.
Well, I will.
Oh, no. No lying. Just have to hope that the Whitecaps move fast. Now, come on, take that off.
This is your last chance, Mr. Royal. You have anything you want to say?
No, sir.
You still deny you had anything to do with the Whitecaps and you refuse to name them, huh?
Let's get it over with.
Sheriff Masterson?
No!
Carry over the office.
That's good. You and your men stake out over there someplace. I'm going to go on back to the office and see what's happening.
You know, Judge Smith was in the crowd. Why'd he come all the way from Buckland?
Well, Pete Albright was in the crowd, too. There are a lot of buzzards hanging around. You keep an eye on that.
Why doesn't he just let us make a run for it? Once we're back at the ranch, Pop and the boys will take care of things.
No, Mr. Earp's handling it right.
But how long will you have to hide out down here?
Not too long, he says. Now, calm down, honey. We're alive.
Why don't you tell him who the Whitecap leaders are?
Telling wouldn't do a lick of good. Mr. Earp has to prove it. We have to trust him, Alice. It's our only chance.
Oh, Judge Tobin.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Albright.
Say, there's been a lot of ugly talk around town. I thought you ought to know about it.
Talk?
Yeah, they're saying that Earp and Masterson didn't really hang that fellow.
What?
Yeah, the talk is they faked it somehow. I'm not saying I believe it.
Nonsense. The man's buried.
Well, a lot of folks aren't satisfied. They wouldn't let anyone view the remains up close. They hustled the body into the coffin and sealed it. Masterson's deputies.
And you're making a formal charge?
Not me. But Judge Smith is fixing to, I hear.
Oh, Judge Smith of Buckland's in town?
Yeah, over at the Texas house. Maybe you ought to have a little talk with him.
No. It's a lot of foolishness. I'll clear this up with Marshal Earp.
Well, he...
Silly gossip. And I advise you not to repeat it. And in all my time on the bench, I never heard such a story, Wyatt. You and Masterson are in contempt of court. You're guilty of malfeasance in office. You asked me for a stay of execution. And when I properly refused, you defied me. Now, where's the prisoner?
I'm sorry, sir.
You sneaked him away. And you refused...
Sir, all I need is a little time. An hour, maybe 3.
Preposterous! I ought to suspend you from office. Arrest you.
Judge Tobin, do you know anything about the Whitecaps?
Of course I know the Whitecaps. They're an illegal crowd of thugs and murderers, but the point is...
No, sir, the point is you can't get evidence on the Whitecaps by ordinary police work. Sir, they hide behind masks. If a member quits them like Mr. Royal did, they either try to ambush him or frame him into a hanging. If Callahan tries to tell on him, they shoot him down right in front of this jail. No, sir, you gotta try and smoke him out of hide and catch him red-handed.
And you think you can?
Yes, sir. Just give me until midnight. Look, if Mr. Masterson and I don't have any evidence by then, I'll surrender Mr. Royal and you can fire us and all our deputies. Sir, there are peace officers and judges all over this country that are risking their lives trying to get rid of the Whitecaps. Now, all I'm asking you to do is to risk a few hours.
Well...
Saw him before. How about him?
No, he's a stranger to me.
Just a couple of nobodies. Come on, we'll take him to Wyatt. Maybe they'll talk.
What's all this?
They started to open the grave and we jumped him. We're wearing these masks.
9 minutes to 12. That's cutting it pretty fine. I don't suppose they'll talk.
No, sir.
Then let them rest in jail a while. I'll continue the stay of execution.
Thank you, sir.
Judge Smith may object, so I'll have to wire Chief Justice Morgan. But no more illegal procedures. This will give you time to crack the case.
Right, sir.
Brick, put them on bread and water. Maybe they will talk. Well, Miss Alice went back to the hotel.
Hey, now, you're not going to turn Dal loose. He's still a prisoner, and we promised the judge
You promised. I didn't say a word.
Now, look, Marshal.
You're in the clear. Whatever happens next, the judge can hang me. And you go bring Mr. Royal up from the cellar. I want to have a little talk with him. All right. Now, this is the shortest trail between Dodge and the Hendricks Ranch. Now, as soon as the Whitecaps find out that we're moving you out, they'll guess that we're heading towards the home of your future father-in-law.
Maybe. Maybe they'll set a nice little ambush, too.
Well, that's our one hope, Mr. Royal.
Hope? You take a prisoner out of jail, let the Whitecaps know we didn't hang him, and then ride into an ambush.
While Sheriff Masterson trails the bushwhackers with his deputies. It's up to you, Mr. Royal. I can't ask you to...
I don't know. I don't like it. Something might go wrong with the timing, and then they'd have both of you in a box.
No, he's right, Sheriff.
You tired of living?
I ain't living this way. Either they hang me for sure or turn me loose for a Whitecap party later on. Let me go by myself, Mr. Earp. You ride with Bat and the deputies.
No, then they'd suspect a trap. Anyway, Mr. Masterson promised Judge Tobin to be strictly legal.
What you want to do is legal?
Sure it is. I'm not turning him loose. He'll still be in my custody. Now, just you and the boys, be careful how you shoot. I want to take that gang alive. Jigger. Jigger, come on in here. Now, I want you to do me a little favor.
I thought he...
He's not a ghost, Jigger. You see, we had to fake the hanging. He's still got an awful lot of enemies, so we're taking him to old man Hendricks' ranch. Now, we're leaving tomorrow morning at sunup, and I'd like for you to pass the word.
Yes, sir. I sure tell him.
Are we gonna wait till they jump, Wyatt?
No. Wyatt's too tender-hearted about killing. Come on, let's get out.
All right, hold it. Drop him.
No.
Well, Wyatt, they're dead.
Did you have to kill him?
I couldn't see any other way. Judge Smith, Pete Albright. I don't like hanging people. Better to drop them in an open fight. Anyway, they fired at me first.
You made it too easy. You could have got him for you. All right. Let's load them on the horses. Couple of you men get off there and help.
Dal! Oh, Dal!
Your Honor, Sheriff Masterson and his deputies had a little fight with the Whitecaps. Unfortunately, 2 of them were killed, but I think the rest of them will turn state's evidence and clear Mr. Royal.
Well done, Sheriff. And where were you while all this was going on?
Well, I tell you, sir, I took Mr. Royal out for some fresh air. You see, sir, I felt it was absolutely necessary to keep up his vigor and strength.
You were very thoughtful, Mr. Herb, as always.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
All right, come on, let's get these prisoners into jail.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
Not working, Wyatt.
Give it a chance, Sam. Here comes somebody.
It's him. And he's wearing his gun.
Yeah. Just as we figured. You leaving town, Mr. Watts?
No.
Then you're under arrest for wearing a gun on the street.
I got good reason for...
Tell the judge.
You've been after me ever since I...
That's right. Are you going to unbuckle that gun or are you going to use it? You get a choice.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien.
Evening.
Your name Henry Brown?
That's right.
Take a look at this. There's a $1,000 reward for Harry Hogan.
You've got the wrong man.
No, we haven't. Go with him while he saddles his horse.
Please. That poster's over 5 years old.
We've carried it almost that long.
Look, I'll admit it. I am Harry Hogan. I was part of a gang for a few years. Then I quit. Since then, I've been a homesteader, right here, trying to live right.
You can tell all that to the judge in Kansas City.
Wait, Henry. Are you lawmen, deputies, or marshals, or something like that?
We don't carry badges, but we represent the law just the same.
Henry, they're bounty hunters. They do this just to collect a reward.
Come on, Hogan. We wasted enough time.
I'll get my horse.
You recognize him, Marshal?
No, I can't say that I do.
Went by the name of Henry Brown. Used to homestead right near here.
What do you mean he used to?
He don't anymore. He's outside, tied over his horse's back. Tried to get away, Marshal, so we had to, shoot him.
Who are you?
My name's Bill Watts, and this here's Dave Ritchie.
You're not lawmen.
No, just a couple of law-abiding citizens, Marshal. Now, if you don't mind, we'd like to turn the body of this criminal over to you.
Just how much does the reward happen to be?
$1,000.
Bounty hunters, huh? You search for scalp money.
Well, now, Marshal, that ain't the way we describe it.
Now, you two are the lowest breed in the West. If I see you again, I'll shoot you on sight.
No, you won't, Marshal. What we've done is perfectly legal, and you know it. We're turning the body over to you for confirmation, and we'll wait here at the hotel until the reward arrives. There's Marshal Earp sending our telegram for us. I don't think he likes us none. None of them do. You know, if half of what's been said about the people of Dodge City is true, we should be able to do a lot of hiding out from the law here. I don't know. Things have changed since this Earp took over. Oh, he's bound to have missed a few reward posters. He didn't remember Hogan. He's leaving. Morning, Marshal.
You want to search us? Your blood money will be here in a couple of days. When it gets here, I'll give you 1 hour to get out of town.
Now, that's not legal, Marshal. We're not breaking any laws. We're upholding them. We'll leave when we're ready.
Now, I'll tell you. You may change your mind.
Gather in just a little closer, fellas, and listen to this. Buzzards come to roost in Dodge. 2 members of one of the most despicable and dishonorable professions in the West, bounty hunting. At this very moment in Dodge City.
Buzzards come to roost in Dodge. Did you write that editorial?
Yes, I did.
What are you trying to do, Sam? Stir up more trouble than I already have?
Well, I wasn't aware until now, Wyatt, that you allowed this kind of thing to go on in Dodge.
Do you realize what this is liable to stir up?
I certainly do. A little public indignation.
Look, Sam, it's liable to start a lynch party. But I'd have to protect those 2 vultures, and that's the last thing in the world that I want to have to do.
Well, Wyatt, to be quite honest with you, I never quite thought of it like that before.
Well, take it easy from now on, will you?
Isn't there something you can do about those 2?
No, not legally. They don't scare easy, and they're all hands at this kind of business. Their being here is the worst thing that ever happened in Dodge.
Well, you make it sound pretty bad.
There's no telling how many lives they'll ruin. That's what bothers me.
Why? You mean you know of wanted men that are living here now in Dodge?
Men like that all over the West. Men who get mixed up early in life. They've regretted it ever since. Changed their names and become decent people.
Then these 2 buzzards come along and wreck their lives altogether. Maybe kill them.
No, they're not going to kill anybody here. The minute that either one of them wears a gun, he's my meat.
Well, why are we stopping?
Ellie, I don't think you should travel anymore today. We'll get a hotel room here in town and use a different name.
But we'd made up our minds not to stop till we got out of Kansas.
Now, look,
Now,
Ellie.
let's keep on.
You and the baby are more important.
I feel fine, dear. Now, let's see if they'll sell us another horse.
Told you the livery stable's always a good place. Where's the posters?
In the drawer?
Take a look at him. He's down there buying a horse. I've seen that face before. There's in Kansas. No, that's not him. There's in Kansas. No. He's one of the Youngers. Wanted for questioning concerning an Abilene robbery. For information leading to this man, $150.
Not a bad day's work. Think Marshal Earp will be glad to see us again?
Leave it alone. Earp sees you with that on the street, he'll shoot first and ask questions later. We don't need guns for this kid anyway.
Hurry, Larry.
Fast as I can.
I beg your pardon? You have a match?
No, sorry. You're not going anyplace, Younger.
No! Stop!
Get out of here. All right, Marshal. But don't forget, that's another $150 we got coming.
I said get out.
Go on!
Are you all right, ma'am?
I'll be all right.
Been just too much for her, Marshal.
Mrs. Younger, I'll try and get you a room as soon as possible. Mr. Younger, I'm going to have to lock you up. Well, he's wanted for questioning, ma'am, according to this poster. I don't like it any better than you do.
I had nothing to do with the robbery, Marshal. The name is Younger. You can see what that means.
He's never done anything with his brothers at all.
We figured by spring the baby'd be here. But my brothers robbed a place in Abilene. Somebody recognized one of them, and I heard they wanted to question me.
Well, you shouldn't have run away.
I've had enough, Marshal. Every time they commit a robbery, they question me.
Well, the worst that can happen is that you go on back home and answer their questions, then come back here and start west again.
What about Allie? See, I just don't have enough money to take care of her while I'm gone.
Well, don't worry about that. I'll see that she's taken care of.
Oh, thank you,
I don't know how we
Marshal.
can thank you, Marshal.
Now, forget it. Now, you go on in there and find yourself a comfortable cell. I'll take you on over and get you a hotel room.
Have a good rest, Allie. Don't worry. Thank you, Marshal.
Ma'am.
Oh, excuse me.
It's all right. You know, some people have nothing else better to do than just print up these posters. It may work.
What?
Nothing.
Well, how's this for a closing line, White? Such men are a scourge to the West, a shame on the human race, and should be run out of town.
That should do it.
I suppose this incites the people to violence like you were afraid yesterday's editorial might.
I'm just going to have to take that chance, Sam. Anyway, if I know those two, the minute they're threatened, they're going to come looking for protection.
We got our names in the paper again.
That's pretty strong. Sam Rolfe.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
Anybody who hates us as much as this Rolfe does should have a past worth looking into.
Let's go look them over.
Well, here they come. I'll be in the back.
We'd like to talk to Sam Rolfe.
Well, what do you want to see him about?
Never mind unless you're him.
No, I'm not. He's out of the office for a little while. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll finish what I'm doing.
Who's in charge while he's gone?
Well, I guess I am.
And what might your name be?
Smith. John Smith.
Then tell me, Mr. Smith, how much do you know about this Rolfe?
Well, not too much, I guess. He's been here quite a while, though.
How long?
Oh, about 5 years, I guess.
You sure of that?
What are you asking all these questions about Mr. Rolfe for?
Don't you know Mr. Smith?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
All right. You tell Mr. Rolfe we'll be back.
All right, I'll tell him. Who should I say was asking after him?
I think you know who we are.
Yes. I guess I do.
Well, that was quite a performance, Mr. Smith. That eye shade does a lot for you, too.
I got a pretty good likeness of both of them, Wyatt.
I'll say they are. Very good.
Well, they suspect me of being wanted.
We'll keep an eye on you, too. Well, we can give Bill Watts another name, Joseph Watson. How's that? Richie, we can make into a horse thief. Put a price on his head.
That's fine. But, how are you gonna see...
How am I gonna get the wrong poster to the right man?
Yeah?
Well, Sam, that's the next step. Now, this is what I had in mind.
Marshall's office looted. Important documents stolen. While Marshal Earp and his deputies were patrolling Front Street last night, some foolhardy thief rifled files and took some valuable papers. Marshal Earp refuses to disclose the nature of the missing papers or to discuss their value. The Marshal's face is red both with embarrassment and anger.
You don't think our good friend Sam Rolfe stole the documents, do you?
Maybe Earp's trying to frame us, accuse us of robbing his office.
I don't know. Earp's no fool. I think we should go and have a talk with Rolfe. Try and find out something.
We buy a couple of copies of today's Globe, Mr. Rolfe.
Sure, just help yourselves.
I see where the marshal's office was robbed last night. Know any of the details?
Oh, only what you read in the paper. It's all right there on the front page. Well, I'm having dinner with Marshal Earp. If you could come back later, I might have some news that would be of interest to all of us. Look across the street. He's watching us now. Couldn't you come back later and maybe we could meet somewhere?
All right. Come back alone. What kind of a trick is this?
You didn't show the note to your partner, did you?
Not yet, I haven't. Well? Where did you get this?
I thought you'd like to see that.
Did you get the one of yourself along with it?
Well, I figured this would cancel out anything you think you might have on me.
What's going on?
What do you mean?
I saw you coming out of the Globe office. Then I followed you to the telegraph office. You trying to cross me?
Why don't you relax? Keeping tabs on Rolfe. Every time Earp sees us together, he thinks we're after Rolfe. Have to be more careful, that's all.
What do you mean, more careful?
We'll have to work alone. Earp can't be in two places at the same time.
What were you doing at the telegraph office?
I sent a telegram to Kansas City to get a line on Rolfe.
You cross me and you know what'll happen, don't you?
Howdy, Sam. You sent for me?
Yes, Wyatt. I wanted to show you this. It's a copy of the wire that Richie sent to Kansas City. Old Hank brought it over to me.
Request information on Joseph Watson, wanted for stagecoach robbery. Your city several years ago. Wire answer, collect D. Ritchie, Dodge City, Kansas. Well, it worked, huh?
Yeah. Looks like the pot's beginning to simmer.
You mean it's beginning to boil? Here comes the other one.
Good afternoon, Mr. Watts. What can I do for you?
Richie and I thought maybe you'd be ready to make a deal on those posters you swiped from the marshal's office.
You're running a bluff, Mr. Watts, and you know it. You won't find any poster with my picture on it. Your partner was in here trying to run the same bluff on me. You know, you two aren't the brightest I've ever seen, but then you're not holding the cards that I am. You see, I found a poster with a picture on it that I think you'd find mighty interesting. Wanted for horse thievery, Daniel Goodrich, alias Robert Richards.
Who else knows about this?
Just myself.
Not even Marshal Earp?
No.
So it was you who stole the posters out of Earp's office?
Well, when a man's in a spot, Mr. Watts, he has to protect himself all the way around. Besides, who'd believe you?
All right. You mind your business and I'll mind mine.
Funny, this is just about the same telegram your friend sent. He sent it to the same fella. Only he was checking on a fella named Watson or some such name about a stagecoach robbery.
You get that through just as quick as you can.
Fellas must be mighty important lawmen.
Hank tipped Richie off. Now Richie's looking for you to protect him.
And Mr. Watts is looking for Mr. Richie to kill him.
Everything's working out just fine. It's Watts. And he's wearing his gun.
Yeah. Just as we figured. You leaving town, Mr. Watts?
No.
Then you're under arrest.
For what?
For carrying a gun in the street.
You've been after me ever since?
That's right. Are you going to hand over that gun? Or are you going to use it?
Oh, Marshal. Marshal Earp, I've been looking all over.
You get away, Wyatt?
Yeah, I hope so. Far away. Now, I can put you in jail for 30 days for carrying this gun. 60 days for resisting arrest and 30 more for disturbing the peace, but I'm going to suspend that and let you go.
Why?
Because I don't want you around. But I'll tell you something, Mr. Watts. If I ever see your face in Dodge City again, I'm going to lock you up for a long time.
Well, what about my reward money? For Hogan's body and for Younger?
Well, you can be fined, too, you know. And I'd recommend to the judge that it'd be about $1,150, and I think he'd listen to me. And one more thing. When you see your friend, Mr. Richie, tell him the same goes for him, too.
I won't be seeing him.
Well, you might. If you take the Deadwood Road. I hear he went that way.
Did, huh?
You think they'll figure it all out, Wyatt, before they shoot each other?
I don't know, Sam. Your guess is as good as anybody's. At least we get rid of it.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail.
and none can deny it. The legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail. Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
You're under arrest, Mr. Craig.
I tried to be on your side, Mr. Earp, but you wouldn't let me. Now I'm against you, and you ain't gonna take me.
Yes, I am, boy.
All right, then. We might as well find out right now how good I really am.
Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien. Before Wyatt Earp had been Marshal of Dodge City for very long, his fame had spread throughout the West. But fame, as Wyatt found out, is a coin with two sides. It is both a reward and a punishment. It brings trouble and carries responsibility. It was Wyatt Earp's fame that brought the boy Jimmy Craig to Dodge City.
Hey, Gabe, will you look at that? Hey, son, where's this gun taking you?
Like to break his leg, mightn't it?
Hey, Ed, here's a gunslinger for you.
Something on your mind, mister?
I was just wondering, son, what man it is that you're planning to use that thing on.
Your old man know you got his gun, sonny?
You trying to pick a fight with me, mister?
No, son, I'm a peaceable man.
You know who this is, son? That's Ed Beatty. But not even grown men pick fights with him.
I don't care who he is. He can't make fun of me.
Sonny, I think that gun's gone to your head. You better take it back where you found it.
This is my gun, and I can use it.
Yeah, I bet. Even get it out of the holster without shooting yourself, probably.
You want to try me?
I'd like to oblige you, son, but you see, I'm not wearing guns. There's law in this town. You got to check 'em. I'm a law-abiding man.
You can get 'em. I'll meet you any place you say.
You take my advice, boy. You get rid of that cannon before you get yourself hurt. I'll take that. Glad you arrived, Marshal. He's a real dangerous character. You didn't have to laugh at him, Beatty. Why not? It's kind of funny. All right, go on about your business.
All of you. Don't be too hard on him, Wyatt. He probably ain't killed more than a few. He ain't hardly had time.
Wyatt? Are you Wyatt Earp?
That's right.
Gee, I'm pleased to meet you, Mr. Earp. I come all the way from Wichita to see you, riding on that old mule.
You did, huh?
Yes, sir. My name's Jim Craig.
I'm mighty glad to know you, Mr. Craig. Now, what do you want to talk to me about?
Well, it's business. Can we go to your office?
All right. Come in. Now, what's on your mind? Besides arguing with a gunfighter.
That fella a gunfighter, too?
Two. Aren't you a little young to be a gunfighter?
What's age got to do with it? It's how good can you use a gun?
You can use this pretty good, huh?
Yes, sir. I've been practicing a whole year at home.
Where's home?
Well, like I said, Wichita. A farm right outside of town. I set up targets out behind the barn. Moved back a few feet every week.
You ever tried this on a man?
No, sir. Just targets and rabbits. But I'm not worried, Mr. Earp. I'm good. Plenty fast. Don't see how anybody could be much faster.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Craig, being fast is one thing, but you got to also hit what you're aiming at. I just got one little question I'd like to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Why? Well, I want to be a lawman. Like you. Just like you. I heard all about you. That's why I saved up and got the gun and started practicing. Now I'm good enough, so I come here.
Well, it's one thing being able to defend oneself if you have to. But deciding deliberately to become a gunfighter, even on the right side of the law.
You did it.
Not deliberately. Not at your age.
Mr. Earp, my mind's made up. I come here to Wichita to be one of your deputies.
Mr. Craig, I'm not a hero. I'm only doing a job that somebody has to do. It's not easy. As a matter of fact, it's kind of dangerous.
You seem to keep living.
Well, I've been lucky. But it's not a living for a boy. Now, you go on back home and grow up. You'll think better of it in a year or two.
You can't talk me out of this.
Look, this isn't a plaything. And the first time you pull this trigger against a real man, you're starting something that's never ended. Not until one of them ends it for you. You can end mighty fast for an inexperienced boy. You better try staying alive a little longer.
I'm asking, Mr. Earp, do I get the job?
No. I need men, not boys.
You want me to prove I can use a gun? You want to come outside?
You threatening me, Mr. Craig?
No. But I'm going to show you.
You fire that gun in Dodge City, boy, and you're going to go to jail.
Then we'll go outside of town.
I wouldn't hire you if you were the fastest gun I'd ever seen.
I heard you was a fair man. I come all the way from Wichita to show you.
All right, maybe I owe you that much. But I'm telling you right now, Mr. Craig, it's not going to change my mind. I'll pick up your shells.
Last night. Couldn't afford the price of a hotel room.
All right, you stand over there. All right, now. Now. Pretty good. I just wanted to point out, Mr. Craig, that the single most important thing in a gunfight is not how well you shoot, but how well you face the other man's bullet.
I'll show you I can do that, too.
No, you're going on home.
You don't think I'm good enough?
Oh, I think you're too good. Shooting like that's only going to get you in trouble.
I ain't afraid of trouble.
No, you're too ready for it. Trouble will come easy.
I'll be able to handle it.
Yeah, you might get away with it a few times, get yourself a reputation. Then all the fast guns will gather like flies around honey. Sooner or later, you'll come up against one you can't beat. You take my advice, Mr. Craig, and go on home.
I had enough of that kind of advice from my pa.
Who's your pa?
His name's Hanford Craig.
If he gave you good advice, boy, you better take it.
No. I left there for good. I come here to show you, and I will.
All right, I don't care what you do as long as you don't do it in Dodge City, you understand? You stay out of Dodge with that gun.
Wyatt, looks like trouble.
What trouble?
That kid's back in town.
With his gun?
Big as life, and he's asking for Beatty. And I told him I didn't think $30 was enough for a job like that. Said I'd make take a chance for about 50. Well, Sonny, I thought the marshal took that hardware away from you.
You do a lot of talking, mister. Now you want to prove up?
You can see I'm still not wearing any guns.
Well, like I said before, go get 'em. I'll wait.
Look, boy, I got nothing against you. I like you. You got spunk. I'm sorry if you took my riding too hard, but let's forget all about it, and then we'll eat dinner, huh?
Are you gonna get them guns?
Look, I don't fight kids. Go home to your papa before you get yourself killed.
You afraid to try yourself against a kid?
Why, you sniveling little...
I told you to stay out of Dodge with that gun. Now you're under arrest.
No!
Marshal, better keep him out of my way from now on.
You just see that you don't come looking for him.
You're gonna be sorry for this.
You're not very smart, are you, Mr. Craig? You want to be a gunfighter, huh? Well, you know how to use a gun, but you don't know when to use it. Now, this morning you started to draw against a man that wasn't even armed. Tonight you tried to draw against me after I had my gun out and already in my hand. You're not going to live very long that way, Mr. Craig.
I don't need no more of your advice, Marshal.
Wow.
I guess I just don't know how to handle kids.
You got to admire him, though, Wyatt. He's got spirit.
You know, it's one thing to buffalo an adult. You figure he knows what he's doing, that he had it coming, but a kid.
Yeah, it is a problem.
I guess I need some help. I'm going to go send a telegram to Wichita. Maybe his father can handle him.
Craig?
I'm Marshal Earp.
Where's my boy? What have you done with him?
He's all right. Safe inside.
You've got no right to put my boy in jail.
He threatened to kill a man, Mr. Craig.
Don't matter. He must have had good reason for whatever he done.
Let's go inside.
Now, where is he? Let him out of there. Right now.
In a minute. But first, don't you want to hear what happened?
I'll hear it from him. I don't need to take your word.
All right, Hal. Mr. Craig, how old is Jimmy?
18. Nigh it, anyways.
You think he's old enough to be wearing a gun?
Why not? I did.
Maybe you had to in those days.
It's no different today. A boy's got to grow up fast out here.
Doesn't have to grow up to be a gunfighter.
The boy can take care of himself.
You really believe that?
I know it.
He told me you advised him against coming here.
Whatever's between him and me is no business of yours.
Well, it's business of mine if he's gunfighting in Dodge City.
Hello, boy.
Hello, Paul.
You all right?
Sure.
What happened to your head?
He buffaloed me.
You hit a boy?
If I hadn't, one of us might have been dead.
You got all the answers, ain't you?
No. The one of them I haven't got. What do you do with a boy like that, Mr. Craig?
He's a good boy.
He could be if he lives long enough.
You needn't trouble yourself about him, Marshal.
All right, I won't. But you get him out of here, out of Dodge City. You take him on back to Wichita and you keep him there.
You got my gun, Marshal.
Mr. Craig, if you got any sense at all, you'll keep this gun from him until he gets old enough not to pick a fight with everybody he meets.
Come on, Paul. And I thought you was a great man.
Come on, boy, get on.
I ain't going with you, Paul. At least not yet.
Now, look here, boy. I wasn't going to let on to him in there, but I already told you how I feel about it.
Yeah, we've been all over that. And I ain't changed my mind.
Now, Jamie, I was willing to give you a chance. I figured if you was man enough to want to try, you was man enough to do like you said. But it ain't worked out.
It will. I changed my plans some.
No. That man in there might be right. You might be biting off a chaw too big for you. Now, you better come along home for a time.
I said no. At least not till I tend to something.
What?
Well, you always said, don't allow nobody to insult us Craigs. Well, somebody did. And I got to tend to it.
Now, listen here, Jamie. Maybe you better forget it. Come along home.
No. Now, you go on. Maybe I'll catch up with you later.
Jamie, come back.
Oh, he was a young and he was headstrong, and he was out against the world all alone. And like a young he rushed in headlong and tried to be a man before he was grown. No telling what he'd do, never was a young'un so very contrary. Whatever he would do, trouble always gathered all around him and found him. He was a young'un and he was headstrong, and it was him against the world all alone.
Now you gonna get them guns?
Yeah. Up the street. Be in front of the Long Branch Saloon in 5 minutes.
Jamie, you can't do...
You stay out of this, Paul.
Jamie, you can't do this. That man will kill you.
I don't think so, Paul. Anyway, I got to now.
There's something going on up there. Yeah, Craig's Williams still out there. Marshal, you better come.
Where?
The man said in front of the Long Branch Saloon. He's gone for his guns.
Beatty. Yeah.
Marshal, Beatty's almost a professional gunfighter.
What do you think I've been trying to tell you and your boy? Come on, Hal.
No, it's Beatty. He's dead. Never seen anything like it, Wyatt. Kid's as fast as greased lightning.
Yes, sir. He got Ed Beatty good. In a fair draw, too.
Where is he?
I don't know, Marshal.
He just put up his gun and walked away as cool as you please.
Well, Mr. Craig?
He said he could, and he did.
Do you realize what's happened now that he's killed a man?
You're meaning I'm to blame?
Maybe I do. Hal?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to arrest him, Mr. Craig.
No. It was a fair fight. They said so.
Even so, you'll have to stand trial.
Don't you touch my boy. He'll kill you. You won't be took.
You'll more than likely have to kill him, Wyatt. He's pretty good. Don't take any chances.
If you hurt my boy, Earp, I'll kill you.
If I don't, somebody else sure will after this.
Who's there?
Just stay right there.
I guess maybe you'll believe me now.
You're under arrest, Mr. Craig.
What do you mean? It was a fair fight.
You have to stand trial anyway. The jury will decide.
You can't arrest me. We ain't Dodge now.
Just come along peacefully. Drop your gun.
No. I tried to be on your side, Mr. Earp, but you wouldn't let me. Now I'm against you. And you ain't gonna take me.
Yes, I am, boy.
All right, then. We might as well find out right now how good I really am.
Be all right. I'll get you to a doc. I'm sorry, boy.
Doc? Shatter the bone above the wrist. He'll pull through fine, but that wrist is going to be stiff.
Too stiff for farm work?
For farm work, no.
For gunplay, yes.
Well, you got your way, Marshal.
Yeah, and you're still living, boy.
Marshal.
You said something about killing me, Mr. Craig.
No. I was wrong. I guess maybe I even ought to thank you. But I can't.
I know.
Cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
Well, they're wearing guns, Ed. I think you ought to wait for Bat.
All I'm going to do is serve him with a subpoena. No call to be having a gunfight over that.
Look, they're killers.
Oh, Wyatt. You and Bat are carrying this thing too far. If I go over and talk to those fellas in a nice way, there won't be any trouble.
You know what your trouble is? You're too nice. The nice ones always die first.
All this talk about dying. Those fellas don't hate me. I'll just go over and explain it to them nice and friendly. You watch.
Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien. The deadly business of gunfighting has never known an abler exponent than Marshal Wyatt Earp. In Ellsworth and Wichita, Dodge City and Tombstone, Wyatt was forced into more than 100 gun battles, but it was his shrewd understanding of men which made him the master of so many gunslinging hoodlums and outlaws. Wyatt's ability to judge the precise moment a bad man had determined to go for his gun was more important than his ability to draw faster. Wyatt had taught Bat Masterson the secret of staying alive in frontier towns. And then Bat's brother, Ed, came to Dodge City.
Hey, you!
Howdy, friend.
You the guy that was whistling?
Yeah, that's right. Why, didn't I have it right? Yeah, it's probably a little off-key.
That song's my jinx. I bet that's why I drew the wrong card. Because you whistled.
Well, I'm right sorry about that. Well, no sense getting sore about it. Tell you, my name's Ed Masterson. Reckon you know my little brother Bat.
Fixes things hunky-dory. I got a good mind.
Whoa, now, chum. I said I was sorry.
Hold it, Tex. Don't reach. That's my brother you're getting hostile with.
Well, speaking of a little devil, boy, howdy.
Wait it. Take off that gun belt.
Stay out of this, boy.
Oh, gosh, Bat. How to calm them down.
You get on your feet. You get out of town. And you don't let me see you again. Now we can say hi to you, Ed. How's it going?
Fine.
Gee, it's good to see you. I got your letter. Come on, we'll go over to the hotel and talk.
Boy, you ain't changed much. But, I never saw my brother act so raunchy before.
Well, this is Dodge City. Well, we do have a good hotel, though. Come on, let's move.
Wait. You hurt that fella, Bat. I'll see if there's anything
He
I
can take care of himself. Come on. Thanks, Al. And I can't take you on as one of my deputies. It wouldn't look good.
Sure. I understand. Well, didn't I say in my letter it was just in case you needed a hand at the sheriff's office? Forget it, brother. Here's to our meeting after all these months, huh?
It's wonderful to see you. How are things?
Oh, fine. Jim Dandy.
No, they're not.
You contradicting old Ed? But, boy, you have changed.
Mom wrote me.
Oh. Can't keep a secret in the Masterson family.
And you can't run a hardware store trusting every deadbeat in Topeka, Kansas.
Well,
Now, you're too nice to everybody.
Mom taught us to be kind, Beth.
She's too good for this world. You always did favor her, Ed.
Oh. I try to act the way she'd want me to. But I usually miss a mile.
You being a peace officer, I just don't know. You see, Ed, there's more to it.
Every time you get a few drinks, you want to fight. Come on, get your gun. Hold it!
That's Wyatt Earp. Now, you watch.
You leave him there. You do your fighting outside with fists. Deacon Earp, let's get him. Now get outside and stay there.
You see what I mean? He doesn't argue.
Well, Mr. Masterson, you sit here and drink beer, huh, while I do all the work. Which Masterson are you, Ed or Jim?
I'm Ed. But how'd you know I was
Your brother's got all your pictures. Welcome to Dodge, Ed.
Well, thank you, Marshal. Draw up a chair, rest yourself. Join us for a beer or some hard stuff?
He drinks milk, but not now. Excuse us a moment, Ed. I got a personal matter. Talk to you in the back room, huh?
Sure. Talk to you later.
Right. Well.
And the whole thing is, I can't tell Ed I don't think he'd make a good peace officer. He's had too much discouragement already.
Yet you don't want to be responsible for hiring him, huh? Brothers. Well, I can understand that. Virgin Morgue have been pestering me for deputy jobs. I guess it's getting too civilized out in California. They're looking for a little excitement.
Oh, Ed doesn't care about that. He's almost broke.
You can put him on as one of my deputies.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that. But Ed wants to reason with hoodlums instead of discouraging them for the moment.
Well, maybe you'll learn. You learn fast.
It ain't right asking you to turn teacher again.
He'd probably listen to me. I'm not his kid brother. I'll take him on over to the office and have a little talk with him.
Me, a deputy marshal.
Boy, howdy. Can't tell you how much this means, Wyatt.
It's just a dangerous, low-paying job of work.
Now, it's more than that. See, I've always been kind of the old, slow-going member of the family. Kind of a near-do-bad, but a near-do-well either. Now, it's high time I started making good at something.
I'll tell you. We'll show your brother what you can do.
Yes, sir. We sure will.
Hey, ain't you Ed Masterson? Run a hardware store in Topeka.
Dooley Grogan! You old Irish rascal. Well, doggone. Hey, how'd you get out of jail?
Oh, it was easy. I served my time.
Excuse me, Marshal Earp, this is Mr. Grogan. Dooley and I went to school together.
Howdy, Marshal.
Howdy.
Say, you make a deputy out of old Ed?
He sure did. And I'm on duty, so keep your distance.
Oh, sure. How about a little sing-song up to Chalky Beeson's tonight?
Dooley, that sounds great. I'll be there.
Fine, I'll see you.
Good. Dooley got put in jail, Topeka. He set fire to the town last 4th of July. He pointed some Roman candles the wrong way. There's no real harm in Dooley, though.
You always greet friends like long-lost brothers?
Well, that wrong?
In our line of work, yeah. Well, the best method is to shake hands with your right, keep your left hand by your gun. That is, if you're wearing two guns. Of course, if you're only wearing one gun on your right hip like you do, you just don't shake hands at all.
Not even with an old friend?
My advice? No. Keep your gun hand clear at all times.
All right, Wyatt. I'll remember.
you check these fire barrels on every patrol. If they're shy of water, you go into the store or the saloon, have the boss fill them. This corner here marks the deadline. South of this deadline, give the cowhands a break. They can get drunk on the streets, have fist fights, but no gun toting. North of here, why, it's strict law and order at all times. You see those drunks come? You go turn them back south.
Yes, sir, Marshal. Whoa up, friends. Head south and cleave it off. Hadn't I better go with them? Find them someplace to sleep?
No, they're good drunks. Couldn't you tell the difference?
Drunk's a drunk, ain't he?
No.
All right. Guess you mean I should pick out the friendly ones from the hostile ones, huh?
That's right. Might save your life sometime, Ed. You see, mean, bad drunks are usually just killers at heart. You gotta be awful careful how you approach them. Now, there goes Jake Stevens into the Lone Star. He's a bad drunk, and he's carrying his .45. I told him to check it this morning. Guess he didn't. Better pick him up fast. You make the arrest, I'll back you up.
Jake Stevens. Say, didn't he used to be an officer in Abilene when Pat was there?
That's right. Drunk himself out of the job. Now, he's just a hoodlum with a pretty fast gun. You watch yourself.
Howdy, Mr. Stevens. Who are you? I'm Ed Masterson. I think you knew my brother in Abilene. Pat? Yeah. I'm sorry we have to meet like this, sir, but I've got orders to arrest you. What for? Oh, come on now, Mr. Stevens. You've been a peace officer. You know there's an ordinance here obliging you to check that gun. I'll have to ask you for it.
Oh, sure.
Take his gun quick.
He's just going to hand me his gun.
No, he
Why?
wasn't. You go on and sit over at that table. Put a tourniquet on his arm.
I'll do that. Come on, Mr. Stevens.
Look, if you were here, all you Mastersons need killing.
Come on.
Oh, Mr. Stevens sure has changed.
Now, what's this all about, Herb?
Jake tried to draw on one of my deputies.
Another Masterson, I hear.
That's right, friend.
Don't call me friend.
Me either.
Look, I don't understand this. What have I ever done to you two fellas?
Ed, there's no sense in arguing with Mr. Wagner and Mr. Walker. Come on, Jake. Well, you two settle your court judgment?
It's none of your business, is it?
I'm just trying to warn you. Don't go playing rough with Mr. Masterson, he'll gun you. Go on, Ed. I'll explain this over at the office. The worst thing that a peace officer can do, Ed, is to, well, say too much or act too kind or be too reasonable in making an arrest. The killers, they just don't give him credit. They think he's scared.
I can see that point of it. But I still can't believe that Jake Stevens had any reason to hate me enough to try to kill me.
Well, bad drunks hate everybody. You can make up your mind to that.
All right. You know a heap more about this job than I do.
Well, there's just one more thing. Your brother and I, we have a lot of personal enemies around town. You take those two fellas down to Lone Star, they...
Wagner and Walker?
That's right. See, they don't pay their debts. So the bank has got a judgment against them, and they know that your brother as sheriff has to, well, either collect or close them.
And they hate Bat just because...
That's right. Well, I know. But hoodlums don't reason, Ed. If they could reason, or had brains enough to, why, they wouldn't be criminals in the first place.
Well, I guess so. Well, I sure have learned a lot today.
Well, it took me a long time to learn. Oh, here comes your brother. Now, you get out of here.
Huh?
Well, I want to make a report on you, kind of talk behind your back.
Oh, sure, Wyatt. See you later.
Right.
Hi, Ed. How'd it go?
What? You better check with Wyatt.
Well, say it.
Say what?
Had to shoot Jake Stevens to save Ed from getting killed. Well, didn't you?
Look, he's a greenhorn in this business. Give him a little time.
How about Alf Walker and Jack Wagner?
Well, they took Ed into their quarrel with you. I warned them what to expect if they got rough. They know I'll help you do it.
Well, thanks, Wyatt. Maybe I ought to ask Ed to quit.
You give him a chance to learn.
All right. But if he does one more stupid thing, I'm going to put my foot right down.
Well, I may do that, but you won't. Now, come on, Sheriff Masterson. Just take it easy. Ed may turn out real well.
Howdy, Mr. Wagner. I got here as fast as I could.
Guns working, kid?
Sure. What's the deal?
Mr. Walker and I have been trying to convince Bat Masterson that he shouldn't foreclose on us. Today, his friend Earp said that Bat was going to gun me and Alf.
You want me to get Masterson and Earp both?
You're loco.
You think I'm scared of them?
They're the best two gunfighters in Dodge City.
I can take them.
Later, kid. Later. Right now, I got a more important job to do.
More important than Earp and Masterson?
To us? Yeah. It's another Masterson, Bat's brother, Ed. But now, do you want to argue or do you want to get $200? I ought to be across the street at the hotel pretty quick. You wait for him at the lobby.
It's been a long day, Ed. You go ahead and turn in.
Oh, boy, will I. You know, I thought all a peace officer had to do was sit around saloons and wait for gunfights.
Now you're learning fast. I'll see you in the morning.
Bright and early. Good night, White.
Good night, Ed.
You Ed Masterson?
Yeah, that's right, young fella.
I'm going to gun you. Want it here or out in the alley?
Nope. We'll fight in a couple of years. When you grow up...
Hold it. Right here and now. Start for your gun.
You drunk or something? You don't want to... I had to hit you, Sonny. Somebody go for a doctor, will you?
You all right, Ed?
I sure was. I had to clout this boy. He was shooting at me.
He got you in the shoulder.
Doggone. I guess he did scratch me some.
Take care of this little brat. You were pampering this kid and he had another gun? Why'd you let him draw on you in the first place?
I just didn't think you'd do it. You think you'll be all right? I whacked him pretty hard.
Never mind about him. You just go on over to Doc McCarty and let him patch that up. Go on.
Yes, sir, Marshal. Yes, sir.
Gosh, Eddie, you hurt?
No, it's nothing but a scratch and ain't even bleeding much. Marshal Earp's kind of concerned about it, though, so I'm going over to the doctor. Paying orders.
Pete, take this little buzzard on over to jail. A couple of you men help him. I want to talk to you upstairs.
Yeah, I know.
So you were right in the first place, and I was wrong. Just not cut out to be a peace officer. Well, is he?
No, I guess not.
Do you know what Ed was doing when I got there? He was mopping this kid's scalp before he disarmed him. This kid could have been playing possum, and your brother'd be dead now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's his life we've been experimenting with. I can either fire him or transfer him over to you, but I think the honest thing for you to do is just to tell him he's not cut out for this kind of job.
All right. I'll tell him. What? I can't do it. He's my brother. Mom would think I let him down. He just can't take more failure. We'll trade deputies, huh?
All right. I just hope you know what you're doing.
Thanks.
Well, how do you feel this morning, Ed?
Oh, shoulder's a little stiff. Don't hurt. Wyatt, did Bat tell you he wants me to work for him?
Oh, yeah, he's been having a little trouble with one of his deputies, Pete Loring. I told him I'd take Pete. I'm getting the worst of the deal.
That's the way it was, huh?
Yeah, officially, but just between you and me, why, I think your brother wanted you from the start.
What do you know? I was scared you were both sore at me about last night. Oh, that little brother of mine's a horse trading scamp, ain't he?
Yeah, he's a shrewd one, all right. By the way, where is he? Is he still sleeping?
Oh, no, not him. Oh, he's talking to that kid I had trouble with. There. I moved from deputy marshal to deputy sheriff. Is that up or down?
It's a promotion, Ed.
Oh, fooling? Well, boy, howdy. You know, I've always jumped from the frying pan right into the fire up to now. Say, I got a present for you. Figure a man should show his appreciation.
Well, there's no need for that, Ed. But I do like presents. Well, silver rosettes, huh? Well, they're mighty handsome, Ed.
Figure they dress up the bridle in that horse of yours.
They sure will. Tell you, Candy thanks you and I thank you. You know, we've been looking kind of seedy lately.
Well, that kid was hired to gun Ed. I just got the truth out of him.
Who hired him?
Jack Wagner for $200.
Sounds like Wagner.
Well, today I'm going to close the Lone Star. Those fellas weren't Texans anyway. Disgraceful they should use the name Lone Star. Walker and Wagner can...
Oh, hold up, brother. I don't get this.
Huh?
Well, why would those fellas hire a gun to kill me? No, Bat, don't make sense.
Now, there you go. I swear, Ed.
Let me try and explain it, will you? See, Ed, it's typical hoodlum thinking. I mean, if the kid had got you, then Wagner and Walker, they could claim that your brother was trying to close him for personal revenge.
But he has a court order to collect what they owe or put the saloon up for sheriff's sale.
No more talk. I'll get the papers and a couple of deputies.
Bat, wait a minute. You and Bat figure to be shooting over this?
Maybe.
Why? Those fellows know they can't resist a court order. And they ain't any match for you in a gunfight.
We'll talk about it later, Ed.
Wyatt, if you'd only cool off and listen, maybe you could talk. Shooting over a saloon. No. No, not if I can stop it.
Masterson and Earp have gone over to the sheriff's office.
They come in here?
Nobody would tell me anything.
Set him up.
Thanks.
Well, what's your hunch, Alf?
Maybe the kid talked. I don't know.
No. It's either run or fight.
Horses are out and back. Let's run for it.
Now, let's wait and see who we're running from.
Wait a minute. Now, look, I know this is your fight, but I'm asking you not to lose your temper.
All right.
I don't think Wagner and Walker got the sand to fight. Hey, where's Ed?
I left him with you.
Pete, you ride by the jail and pick up Ed Masterson. Pretend like you got some kind of errand to run that'll keep you away from the Lone Star.
Yeah, and if he's not at the jail, you find him. Watch your office, Sam.
Now, look who he sent to close us up. His big brother, Ed.
I want to talk to you, man to man. There's no sense to be shooting over this foolish quarrel. It's my brother's sworn duty to...
Look.
They killed Ed?
No! You can't shoot him again. If he gets well, he'll pay for what he did. I'll take him on over to Doc McCarty's. You got some weeping to do. Go on in the back room where nobody can see you.
Yes, sir.
Ed was too decent and nice. Nice ones die first. But they die for kindness. That's almost worth a man's life.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told. Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
Violence in the West took many forms, and friction between soldiers and settlers was one of them. With a fort just outside the town, Dodge City became an arena for such violence more than once. All it took was the appearance of one old man full of an ancient hatred.
There he is, right there.
You buffalo hunters still think you can run things in Dodge?
Who says we can't?
I do.
You? You ain't big enough to make that stick.
Well, I'm big enough to lick you.
You want to try?
Why not?
Why, you slab-sided young mule. Jake Castor, you old gopher, it's good to see you. Good to see you, too, boy. Come on, let's have a drink.
Well, I tell you, I don't drink. And, especially with men that are breaking the law.
You got it?
Yep.
What kind of town you running there, boy?
Well, that's the law, Jake.
Law? First thing I ever learned, a man had to keep his eye closed.
Well, that's out in the Toolies, where you roost, not in Dodge.
You mean it, Wyatt? Well, if it was anybody else but you. You want sharps, too?
No, you just keep that in your saddle boot and everything will be fine. Well, now I'll have a little drink of milk with you. Hey, Soapy.
Yeah?
Bring us around, will you?
All right.
What? What does that thing say?
Why, you old goat, haven't you learned how to read yet?
But, sir, out where I live, talking and sign is all that matters.
You do that pretty well, too, don't you?
In any Indian language you can name.
It's more than I can do.
Why, they're Marshal. I never thought I'd see that. You always did have a white streak of righteousness in you. I thought you'd gotten over that by now.
Well, I haven't changed much, Jake.
You ain't a boy no more, Wyatt.
No. The years go by.
Yes, they do. Don't they?
What are you doing these days?
Oh, Things ain't like they used to be. Times have changed to the bad. Remember how it was the first time I took you out? Buffalo so thick the plains was black with them as far as the eye could see. Just like a rolling ocean.
Yeah, I remember.
Them days the herd was maybe 2 or 3 million animals. Now you're lucky if you can find 8 or 10 of them in a month of hunting.
I know.
Serious, Wild. It's why the Indians is fighting. You can't blame them. They're starving. So when I see that, I quit hunting for the forts and trying to feed the soldiers. I'm living with the Cheyenne.
With your wife's people?
My wife said was.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jake. Sorry to hear that.
You got plenty of blue coats here.
Do you mind? Yeah, especially tonight. Port's not too far away, and today was payday.
Yes, I know.
Be a lot of celebrating. Got every deputy on the street. Which reminds me, I better get to work. Say, by the way, you didn't tell me why you were here in Dodge.
Maybe I'll come to see the town.
You don't care that much for towns.
Maybe I'll come to see you.
Well, you old goat, you didn't even know I was here. You know, you ask an Indian a thing 3 times. The 3rd time he has to tell you the truth. I'm asking you the 3rd time.
You come to see a fella.
What fella?
Don't matter.
Why? Well, I mean, it must be important. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come all this way.
I got a score to settle.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Why?
I'm the marshal. Knowing how you settle your scores, well, that could mean trouble for you and me.
You're my friend, ain't you?
Yeah.
No need to worry, then.
I ask you to move over. You leave me alone. Just because you're in the
What,
army...
you think you're scuffling?
Son of soldier, hold it. Hey, you better watch out, Marshal. I got friends.
Now, look, you boys start any trouble, and you're going to wind up in jail. Now, go on, do your drinking someplace else.
You can't tell us
Come
what
on,
to do.
soldier. You heard the marshal. Now, go on.
Thanks.
I wasn't thinking of you. I was thinking about the bail.
There ought to be a law against those ruffians coming to town, Marshal. Shoving honest citizens around.
You're not hurt, mister. Go on back to your drinking.
Are you siding with them, Erp?
Look, they got a hard, lonely job to do, protecting all of us. They deserve a little spree. Hey, Soapy.
Yeah?
Where'd the buffalo hunter go?
Well, I don't know. I guess he must have left, Marshal.
You're all right. You're all right. Look, you sit down right here.
Sit down?
You sit down.
Okay, I sit
I'll get the horse.
Okay, Sergeant, you get the horse.
Huh?
Sarge? Sarge! Sarge! I'll kill him. If I ever get my hands on him, I'll kill him.
You leave that to me, soldier.
Oh, no. I know you low-life civilians. If it's a blue coat, you don't care. You don't even try. Well, you watch. The Sarge's got friends.
Look, if you just stop yammering long enough to tell me what you saw, I might have a better chance to get whoever did it.
I didn't see anything. Well, Marshal, you don't think it couldn't have been Indians? Well, those are moccasin tracks. It's the way they do it. And the hair.
No. An Indian wouldn't take that chance, not here in Dodge.
Well, you better find him, Marshal. You better find him quick. Because if you don't...
What are you doing here?
Well, looking for you. I had a hard time finding you.
You can't sleep inside walls. On them soft beds. You're up mighty early.
Well, I tell you, I haven't been to bed yet. How long you been here?
Oh, some little time, I reckon. Why?
You ever hear of a big Irish sergeant named McCafferty?
No, I can't say I have. I don't blanket with soldiers, you know that. Why?
He's been killed. Indian style.
He has?
Scalped. With a knife like that. By a man wearing moccasins.
You think I killed him, Wyatt?
I haven't any other suspect, Jake.
He probably had it coming to him. Besides, what reason I have to kill him?
I don't know. You said you had a score to settle. It was McCafferty you were staring at in the saloon last night.
That's so.
And you're bitter, Jake.
Why shouldn't I be?
Don't pay to be bitter.
You know how our life was. Kind of life a man could be content with. Kind of man was meant to live.
But you can't stop a whole nation bent on moving, Jake. You gotta accept what's bound to be.
Sunbusters, cow wranglers, bone pickers.
They're people looking for homes. They gotta live too.
And what about us? They just better stay out of my way. And them bluecoats, them's the worst. Murderers, all of them.
McCafferty?
You really think I killed him?
Yeah. I think so, Jake.
If I said I did, what did you do about it?
Only one thing I could do.
Quiet. You and me, we mean two different things when we say friend. But this is just supposing. If I killed the bluecoat.
Did you, Jake?
What reason would I have?
Did you?
Why, I already told you.
Did you, Jake?
I ain't no Indian, why? Where you going?
Well, first off, I'm going over to the fort.
Yeah. Associating with bluecoats, huh?
Gotta take back the body. Try and stop the trouble that's bound to come.
If you think I did it, ain't you afraid I'll run out on you?
But if you do, then I'll know. And I'll come after you.
My friend. My friend.
That's why, Jake, you're gonna have to tell me yourself.
Well, Marshal, surprised you ventured out here.
I brought the body.
You needn't have bothered. We were sending a detail.
Well, sir, I'd rather you kept your men out of Dodge until after this is cleared up.
My men wear the uniform of their country. They can go anywhere in these United States they wish, including Dodge.
Of course, sir. But I don't think you want trouble any more than I do.
The cavalry doesn't look for trouble, Marshal, but they're ready for it when it comes their way. You just worry about your civilians.
Well, the civilians don't start every fight, sir. But that's not what we're talking about now. We can discuss that in a few days after I get the murderer.
Do you really think you ever will?
Maybe.
I'm not concerned about where my men go off duty.
Sir, you could keep them on the post under orders for a couple of days.
I could, but I won't. In fact, I've already given leave to B Company today, after the burial. That's McCafferty's company.
Sir, that's deliberate incitement to riot. Is that what you want? You realize that'll cause more bloodshed?
If you can't keep order in Dodge, I can arrange to have martial law declared.
Well, then you better do that right now.
Maybe I will, tomorrow. Unless, of course, you can find the man who did it first.
Will you help me?
How?
I'd like to take a look at McCafferty's service records.
Why?
Because I think it was a personal grudge. Maybe we can find a clue in the records.
I can't give you that without orders from Washington.
Well, then at least let me talk to some of his friends.
I don't think they'd even talk to you.
Thanks.
Oh, Marshal. This is Mrs. McCafferty.
I come to see the man who brought him. I come to thank you, Marshal, for bringing him home to me.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Are you? Are you, Marshal? Then why don't you find the man who did it?
I'm trying to. Will you help me?
Help you?
Colonel, could I speak to Mrs. McCafferty in your office?
Well, all right.
Sit down, ma'am. Now, Mrs. McCafferty, can you tell me any reason anyone might have for killing your husband?
Only that you didn't protect him. That you let a lot of scum and killers run around loose.
Well, I think this is personal, ma'am. Did your husband have any enemies?
Patrick? Not an enemy in the world. He was an angel.
Yes, but was there anything in the past, I mean before he met you?
You'll not be getting me to say anyone had a right to kill him.
Did Mr. McCafferty ever mention a man named Jake Castor?
Castor? No. No, never. It's not help from me you'll be needing, Marshal.
Well, where was your husband born?
Ohio, I think. He came to Colorado as a boy.
Colorado. He joined the Army there?
Yes,
Colorado Volunteers?
during the Civil War.
Well, could it have been something about the Indians? Cheyenne? It was the Colorado Volunteers at Sand Creek, wasn't it? Please tell me, Mrs. McCafferty.
Oh, no, it couldn't be. Surely. But he was at Sand Creek.
Tell me.
Well, it was the only thing he ever did he was ashamed of. Bothered him something awful for a time. You understand he was under orders.
Yes, sir.
But he said something seemed to happen to all the men that day, even him. They seemed to go crazy with the Indian killing. You heard it was horrible. Even their women and children. Oh, he couldn't get it off his mind. He used to wake up at night crying and moaning and... Well, I told him he had to forget it. That the Lord would forgive him. It made a better soldier out of him. He hated the Indian fights, but he did his job the best he could. He was a good man.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Mrs. McCafferty. Maybe you gave me the answer I need.
Well, I've lined up some men for deputies and commandeered some wagons for a barricade. Now, I know you didn't order this, but I figure we ought to fight at the start.
All right, Hal.
Did you learn anything out there?
Some. Jake? Tell me about Sand Creek.
What do you mean?
Oh, I've heard about it, just like everybody else has, but not from somebody that was there. There were white men with the Cheyenne that day. George, Charlie Bent, Ed Gary, and Jake Castor.
What are you driving at?
I want to hear it from you.
Sure. Why not? It's a great victory, just like you said. Surprise attack on a peaceful village, naked and starving Indians. Thought they were under a flag of truce. 300 of them butchered. 3 out of 4 women and kids.
Jake, your wife, what happened to her?
Right in front of my eye. And I couldn't do a thing about it. I didn't even have a gun. My wife. Is my son still in her arms? And I couldn't do nothing about it. Nothing at all. But I saw his face, and I never forgot it. It trailed him all over the West.
McCafferty?
If it was. Hadn't I the right?
It's hard to say no to that, Jake. Not many men would. Probably a jury wouldn't. But the Bible says no. Jake, there was blood enough spilled that day. There's already a trail of red all over the West.
And it ain't finished yet.
Look, we're all ashamed about what happened at Sand Creek, the whole nation. Shivington was court-martialed and forced out of the Army for it. Congress has voted indemnities.
Indemnities.
Well, all I know is that the answer to killing is not more killing.
Wife, I'm an old man. I ain't got much time left. But I gotta be out in the open. Gotta be free.
Nobody takes any action without my orders. Not a shot fired until I say so. Everybody understand that?
You think you can stop them with talk, Wyatt?
I can try.
They're coming. What? They're coming.
All right, let's go.
Wyatt, give me my gun. I'll help.
I don't want your help, Jake.
Wyatt, we've been friends a long time.
Bill, get those men out of there. Go on, get back.
Get out of the way, Marshal.
You men are violating the law, coming into this town armed. Now, any of you who want to drop your guns and swear to keep the peace can come in.
I reckon we'll come our way, Marshal.
You realize what you're doing? You wear the uniform of the U.S. Army. These are U.S. citizens.
They should have thought of that before. We didn't start the trouble.
Neither did they.
Well, have you found out who did, Marshal? Well, maybe we can. All right, get out of the way, Marshal. We're coming through, and you can't stop us.
Wait! Jake, wait! You want McCafferty's killer? Well, here he is. I killed him. I had good reason. You want to know why?
Jake.
All right, Wyatt. Maybe I was wrong.
Hold it! First man to pull a gun goes to jail. Now, he's my prisoner. You either go on back to your post or come in peacefully.
I just want to know why. I want to know why you killed my husband. You said you had a good reason, and I want to know before I kill you.
Mrs. McCafferty. His wife and baby died at Sand Creek. Come on, Jake.
All right, move out.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
ভালোবাসা সুন্দর, ভালোবাসাও সুন্দর। মানুষ নিজের অজান্তেই ভালোবেসে ফেলে।
আমারও মনে হয় কি জানেন, আপনার মতো জানাশোনা কাউকে না আমার বিয়ে করা উচিত।
এটা কি উপলক্ষে?
ম্যাডাম, ফুলটা গ্রহণ করুন, তারপরে বলতেছি।
ভোটার আইডি কার্ডে যার স্বাক্ষরের জায়গায় টিপসই দেয়, এখানে কেউ ডাক্তার।
এই দুইজনের মধ্যে যে আগে ম্যাডামের মন জয় করতে পারবে, ম্যাডাম তার।
একদিন না দেখলে তোমায় বন্ধু আন্ধার লাগে সব, তোমার এই প্রেমে এমনই টান।
রোগীদের তো ডক্টরের কাছে আসলে ব্যথা কমে যায়, আপনি তো উল্টো হলো কেন? আপনি কি একটু উল্টা?
তোমায় ছাড়িয়া যাব মরিয়া, তোমায় ছাড়িয়া যাব মরিয়া, যেও না বন্ধু আমার, ভুলিয়া ভুলিয়া।
আমার মনে হয় আমার সমস্যা কপালে। ম্যাডাম, আমার কপালে নেই, আমার কপালে আছে দাগ।
Này, sao thế nhỉ? Sao thế ít ít nhỉ? Nổ bùm. Sao mày? Trời ơi. Không quá rồi. Rồi, cút. Xong, cút. Meo 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 meo. Cái gì đấy? Lò đắc bù bù làm mau vậy anh? Chuẩn không vậy. Thầy lái nha, thầy lái tốc độ cao xem con lái không? Từ từ, mày ấy á, xít được. ride a car in high speed ấy. Chuẩn không? Đây á, không được. Sửa tốc độ cao. Tốc độ cao đét mà. Rồi một lần, hai lần thứ hai. 300 lap à? 400 lap. Chuẩn không thầy? Chuẩn không? Chuẩn không? Chuẩn không? Ui, tốc độ cao đấy. 378 lap, trường 400. Này à, bắt đầu thua, bài khỏe đấy. 2299 á. Bài đấu sĩ á. Mình lẫn vào mày có ăn uống đầy đủ nhỉ? Thằng này được ăn uống đầy đủ. 2299 là phải không? Không. Tự đọc chuyển hóa bàn đấu. Đúng đi em. Lũ. Ô, phải chấm. Này em thua rồi. Không biết. Ok thầy ơi, mai sẽ ride a cat. Lâu rồi, 15 phút. Well played bro. Lái luôn đấy, lái bình vua lái racing boy. Nhốt luôn, chết không? Ngồi đi. Đéo đi à? Vào nó kẹo rất siêu linh. Đéo đủ ăn la là chết. Được không? Cũng là khỏe rồi ra. Đánh bài gì với cả Nautilus 2.
দরকার পড়লে একটা রিকশাওয়ালাকে বিয়ে করবো, তারপর তোকে বিয়ে করতে
তুমি যদি মরো আমি তোমাকেই বিয়ে করব।
দেখো বিয়ে এত সোজা না।
আমার 5টা কন্ডিশন।
কয়টা?
5টা।
আমি জেডি সাফায়েত রমরাজন। স্যার এটা তো ভোটার আইডি কার্ড স্যার।
বাড়িতেই করবেন নাকি হোটেলে?
না আপনি যেমনটা ভাবছেন বিষয়টা তা না। ভাই আপনি তো করবেন।
তোমাকে দিয়ে হবে না, আমি জানতাম। শুধু সময় নষ্ট করো না।
ভাই আপনি তো অনন্ত দলিল না যে অসম্ভবকে সম্ভব করে আপনার কাজ।
জিমি
কি হচ্ছে?
আচ্ছা
আঙ্গের একদম ভইরা দিমু। যাচ্ছে সব বাইট কর।
শর্ত দিয়ে বিয়ে।
ভাই যে বয়সে মানুষ গার্লফ্রেন্ডের কামড় খায়, সে বয়সে আপনি কুত্তার কামড় খেয়ে হাসপাতালে ভর্তি হয়েছেন।
Một video 1 ngày 5 tháng 7 2024 bên Cheyenne Astro White. Này bay tiếp cho các em xem nhé. Ok, để tự lại. Anh sẽ khiển một chút. Mình sẽ kiếm 50 củ để 50 củ để rồi tiếp lên chiến sĩ nhất. Ê, nếu lái được thẳng quá, chôn quá. Lái thẳng rồi. Chi xong rồi phải không? Mày hù tỏ. Đùa, mày đùa. Thôi, thầy kệ cho mày tự đi. Chuyển thuyết tăng trưởng mày. Cách xa sửa binh nhé. Ok. Thật ra được 3 cùng 47 chỉ không? Cộng 3,17 nhân trừ 20%. Rồi tầm chơi được 20%. Đây là nạp chút năng lượng cho quá, bạn người thân. Vay engineering 127 triệu của mình. 127 triệu biết à? Đây, chơi lên ở đây, đuổi 2 cái màu vàng. Rồi xong, bay cao như vậy. Mình kéo vậy. Trời giảm đất. Khiếp thằng này quỷ à, ác quỷ vô ba. Đùa tao. Cái này rất là tuyệt rồi. Dọc rồi. Chết rồi. Đi kìa. 2 phút rồi. 2 phút hơn của pháo. Mày cộng 10 cho thầy. Đùa tao thế mà không được mà mày hàng tao à không bao nhiêu rồi đấy ngã chéo mà thế mà không được 16 lắm
তোমাকে 15 লাখ টাকাই দিতে হবে তুমি যদি দিতে না পারো তোমার বাবাকে কল দাও তোমার যত জমি জিরাত বাড়িতে যা যা আছে এগুলো বেচা হইলো তোমরা আমাদের টাকা পাই পাই করে শোধ করবা
একটা ব্যাপার কি খেয়াল করছো শহরে কিন্তু দুইটা রূপ রাতের এক রূপ দিনের আরেক
বেঁধেছি ঘর হৃদয়ের পর গাঢ় সবুজ ওই গহীন বনে
আরে ব্রো সবসময় চিল থাকতে হবে কিচ্ছু মাথায় নেওয়া যাবে না
ভালোবাসা হচ্ছে একজন আরেকজনের উপর ভরসা করে একজন আরেকজনের হাতের উপর হাত রেখে এই জীবনটা কাটিয়ে দেয় কিছু মানুষ এই রাত জেগে থাকে আর টাকার বিনিময়ে সুখ খোঁজে
বসুন
এখন তো সিরিয়াস হওয়া উচিত তাই না আমি তো কোথাও যাচ্ছি না পার্টি করতে তুমি কেন যাচ্ছ কেন বন্ধ করতে পারতেছো না বলো তো কার যে কোথায় সুখ সেটা তার প্রিয় মানুষটাও কখনো জানতে পারে
পাশাপাশি তবু যাচ্ছি বিপরীতে কাছাকাছি তবু যাচ্ছি বহু দূরে
হাই ইউ লুক গুড
থ্যাংক ইউ
bao nhiêu 160 à thì được phải làm một lần nữa 1 hoặc 2 lần nữa rồi kỹ năng nữa lại cho banh trời thì quay rồi sao chưa 10 tiếng nữa cần mất tính thời gian chơi game trốn good not xong đấu này đấu sĩ à quyền năng biết tiếng này cái đồ bộ bố gái bao nhiêu rồi 26 tỷ à người thì là 200 rồi là 2 là 1 tỷ 10 là 5 lát 1 lát Đó, 200 lát. 2 củ một lát. 200 lát. 2, 4. Đó, đúng rồi, 40 củ. Ôi, trời ơi. 210 lần nữa đấy. Một sống với à? Đến 2 bay 2 nữa là lấy 5 phút. Bay một chia xong. Bình chia lên. Bình nhé. Đúng nào? Olivia, ngon có biết kiểu của đấy đâu. Máu, máu, hôi máu, hôi máu, hôi máu, hôi máu.
আপনি কিন্তু দেখতে যথেষ্ট সুন্দরী একজন মানুষ, দেখতে বেশ রোমান্টিক, যেন শেক্সপিয়ারের নাটকের কোনো নায়িকার মতো। ভেবেছিলাম, কিন্তু আপনি তো পুরোটাই মর্মান্তিক। যে কোনো মানুষ আপনাকে দেখে মর্মাহত হতে পারে।
আমার হালকা হতে 1 মাস সময় লেগেছে।
আপনার 1 মাস সময় লাগে? আমার হালকা হতে তো 1 মিনিট লাগে।
আমার কাছে মনে হয় জীবনসঙ্গী এমন হওয়া উচিত যার সাথে আপনি প্রতিটা মুহূর্ত উপভোগ করতে পারবেন, সারাক্ষণ খুনসুটিতে মেতে থাকতে পারবেন এবং তার মনে এমনভাবে বসবাস করবেন যে আপনার দিকে সে একটাবার তাকালেই বলে দিতে পারবে যে তার বেঁচে থাকার কারণই আপনি।
পথে চলতে চলতে, কথা বলতে বলতে, কখন যেন হলে আমার।
জানি গল্পে গল্পে মিশে অল্পে অল্পে আমিও হয়ে গেছি তোমার।
ছোট ছোট ভুল ফুটে হলো ফুল যে তোমাকে পেলাম।
গুটি গুটি পায়ে স্বপ্নের নাই আমি ভেসে গেলাম।
আপনি কি মনে করেছেন একজন মানুষ আমার জীবন থেকে চলে গিয়েছে এবং আপনি সেই সুযোগটা কাজে লাগিয়ে আপনার ফিলিংস গুলো আমার কাছে এক্সপ্রেস করবেন আর আমি সেটা হ্যাপিলি অ্যাকসেপ্ট করে নিব? এই হচ্ছে আপনার বন্ধুত্বের নমুনা?
রোদের পাখি তোর শহরে, আমার মনের স্বপ্ন ঘিরে। ওরে পাখি ওরে সারাক্ষণ, তোর শহরে বৃষ্টি হলে ভিজে আমার মন।
Quỷ á, quỷ thuật, cái xa kìa, dấu dấu, không bố à? Trôn, mày thiếu đồ đéo gì nhở? À, thiếu bên anh, từ mắt bà giáo thế thiếu đồ, anh nghe xua. Chắc thằng đồ đấy. Rồi lên xe đã, bình tĩnh, còn ra chìm, bình tĩnh tự tin và chiến thắng nhé. Về song long mà. done this love has done to me. Bài mình thắng không? Bài yêu yếu đéo gì nhỉ? Bài mình yêu yếu mà bài đó cũng lò lò của quên nhỉ? Quên mấy học lắp cây đồ thanh. Chết rồi, con ăn đi chết. Thắng không vậy? Bà sinh viên à? Mày đi. Cái kia hai cái đồ của mana lâu quá đấy. Thôi khỏi văng chết. Vết kiếm mà chuồn vô cuồng đau vết kiếm mà. Mặt trời 1 tỷ 9 à, 3 tỷ 6. Được lời. Được rồi. Trong si quay trên mặt trời. Được rồi. Đổ nước mắt. Đơn bản rất trẻ Hà Nội. Rồi, chọn không? Coi, lấy mấy con nhiều tiền đã. Mấy cái này không? Rồi, sẵn sàng đổi. Sàng không? Broccoli. Xa, đem let's go. Chủ tiền là tỷ tiền à? Đây hoàn toàn đâu. Cần kiểm tra trên vòng tao. Rồi vật chất thực thấy. Lần đâu. Nên là cái trường đéo quá. Mày quá trời kêu ghép đủ. Trời. Sao đâu? Thực ra cái thằng kia là nhót xuống ấy. Chôn à? Chôn à? Đồ chôn vai. Đấy, lắp này xong nó gãy đồ xong. Nó sẽ thì lắp cái được không nhỉ? Thì không biết được không? Cút. Dấu nào. Nhót chưa? 38 máu chưa nhót. Ui acid xong. Rồi. Khởi 2020. Đấy chết thằng ngu. Yes sir broccoli ơi. Một thằng lửa. Cùng mày. Được tao vào địa ngục chưa biết trái có hù game. Đây. Nghe tất cả sau bao đêm. Đây cứ đóng xem trên để rủ tôi đến của xem hai thằng quỷ nó dòng mà nó lắp vào này cũng trên đấy thì làm quanh con dao có cho con mắt nhà ăn đi trên cao trên tao trên trả đạp smile Zone xuống bắn Sira mất nó nói Sira sấy đéo kịp Zone chứ sấy kịp ấy được cây kìa Zone chưa phun đồ do dòng lắp là máy giáp mặt chim broccoli Zone 3 không vị Zone 3 không vị à Zone 3 không vị cần chấm muối không phải broccoli mà đánh bóng đánh bóng hoài thế không biết 3 tỷ 9 thôi bye bye quay đây phong này phật Gamma Classic ski Meow Bẹp Và được một hai em gì trên tổng đàn không không cả em trong bản và một thứ thì nó không đơn giản không cản tôi quên không cản yes sir mình đã quật Ba Đình nhưng mà ngay còn giấy nhạc lên là phải căng ta phải trang nói ngon mà phải chăn sáng như hải đăng Đài Loan sẽ sơ buộc đuôi chắc Đại Trang thì chắc Đài Loan ta chỉ cầm tay thôi nhưng em bảo là phải phập hay không thì khó lắm đây để quanh không nhiều nước cút cái ký tạo fan tên là Đạt nhà có vương ngày trên Đà Lạt Cam Minh Sơn bỏ luôn tao nghĩ ra mắt người ta 30k đồng 400 uầy ở đinh mạnh acid rồi chuẩn
Chôn bố. Hay Chơi về Azit ạ. PC game. Vẽ à? Game vẽ à? Vẽ điết. Ấn định mạnh Azit ạ. Anh em bắn thằng kia rồi, không đủ bệnh anh mạnh rồi, không sao. Ok là sống được thì mới được bệnh mạnh được. Đây của tao. Là đang gì ạ? Tí chỉ vậy. Thằng kia thằng hát đúng câu chúng mày tuổi lờ. Nhít mày như chip chip. Nhít chip chip. Không cái check xin ra cái. Ok. Đeo qua kẹp xin ra. 1,7 tỷ, 31,7 cái kim cương mà đéo đủ. Thread bế ai đây? Chết Udia trước cả để Thread rồi, Thread bế Galio và Juliet rồi xong. Mà Thread 1 thì là chút nhiều máu đấy. Khỏe đấy. Thắng này. Ui, kia sấy chết hết ạ. Sấy Azit xịt chết hết. Trời là cho bạn một trang bị tạo tác. Ok broccoli có gì cho xin ham báo tố Lurian. Yes sir, cảm ơn cái này được tạm được. MCK C4 con cờ 5 bước gì ạ? Nhỏ không lắp 32k 32k rưỡi ạ. Một lần quay pet kiểu là nhiều pet. Cái hai game 5 phút rồi bú game ấy farm này cho big hai game. Để phát nữa được không? Lại đánh nó à không thằng này cũng giống bài vừa đấy, không đi là đi xin với cả bố sĩ. Và với bài thằng này có mạnh bài bằng với không? Nhìn mạnh hơn nhỉ, trâu hơn. Không, thằng này là bùi quá rồi xì ơi cái gà ấy. Ui, không chết rồi vậy. Thôi thắng. Trồn rất chịu rồi. Thằng kia khỏe hơn nhiều, cút. Chết thua chào chơi 4 à. Này cái chết à? Không à. Chôn bố 96k. Tôi lên mà. Tí đồ tôi hiểu là sao thì bớt nhiều quá. Xét một cát ở giờ phải check xem mà con này bao nhiêu. 75% mà. Mấy con này sẽ là những con quay xịt nhất 85%. Đi ra nốt đẹp. Xét ơi, Azit 2 chỉ có mạnh đấy. Tanh sự mỏng đét. Có giảm kháng phép của zone 3 đứng chéo cái xin ra sự khó đấy. Ngoài tán khó tớ thấy đấy. Đây rồi, nó xuống rồi. Sẽ bắt lửa cây đi luôn không? Đi luôn mà. Xin thằng này đi rồi. Yếu đét. Tên gì? Đấy. Winho 1412 1999 quái chưa? 142 1999 à? Ra vậy bữa vui. Đây tôi làm yes. Đi giống ai